Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Abzan Mav. This is a list very similar to those that we played in the past. Mostly those lists involved Once Upon a Time as 3 copies, kind of taking the place of a mana accelerant, a land, and a utility creature, I'll say. But I wanted to just have more oomph in the deck for reasons, and I think that I wasn't a big fan of Once Upon a Time because sometimes it led to you keeping a hand that you just wouldn't want to keep. So if you kept a hand with Once Upon a Time to find your green source or your mana accelerant and didn't find those, it costs you, especially with a deck like Maverick, where if you do stumble, it's going to snowball. And that's going to happen even more in 2023, where some decks want that stumble to just take over the game. And that can happen turn 1, can happen turn 2, and it's really hard for a deck like Maverick to overcome stumbles. And Once, for me, in my experiences, was causing a bit of that. It's great when it allows you to find the land you need, like a Windswept Heath, or find an early Solitude or Endurance to beat a combo player. But overall, I felt like when you're also playing Fiend Artisan alongside Green Sun Zenith and Once Upon a Time, you get to the stage a little bit like blue decks when they play too many cantrips and they have all this fluff to find cards, but they don't actually have room for cards to find. And so by playing no onces, I added a 3rd Noble Hierarch to go up to 5 mana dorks plus Dried Arbor, and then got the extra Solitude in there to have 2 Solitudes, which I really like. So that is where that's at. And then I've also brought in Underbound Adventurer as just another really nice way to play a little bit of an unfair game with the initiative and see how that performs, because as a Green Suns target, as a Fiend Artisan target, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes, to have that sort of Planeswalker effect in Green Suns that isn't just Grist. So Undermountain, hopefully, looks pretty good. Chat, how fast good do you think is Fiend Artisan? I do like Fiend. I don't like relying on it. I think it works really well in a deck like Elves, where it's really nice to have those additional copies of combo pieces. You have a lot of play with the targets you can get. I guess what I'm trying to say about Fiend Artisan and Elves is that it works towards their plan of winning the game, whereas I feel in Maverick, you're using Fiend to find targets so you don't lose the game. So getting Collector Oof against 8-cast, getting Plague Engineer against some tribal decks. But Fiend has been really strong. I do like having Fiend as a Green Suns target, but I don't like relying on it to find my creatures. So obviously, you have 2 steps in allowing you to Green Suns for Solitude, by Green Sunning for Fiend Artisan, the following turn Fiend Artisan for Solitude. You have the same thing for Thalia or Plague Engineer, which is really nice. So I think Fiend is really powerful. And it's also very good against the decks that use damage-based removal on your early spells. So if you lose all your Mana Dorks, or Thalias, or Sentinels to Bolts and Chain Lightnings, then having those Fiend Artisans as 4/4s or 5/5s against a deck like Delver is going to be a real threat, which is really nice. So I really like Fiend Artisan in Maverick. I'm a big fan of the play. It also gives a role and a responsibility to Mana Dorks in the mid to late game after they've already done what they want to do in creating additional mana in the early turns and giving it an advantage there. So to have the Fiend Artisan to turn non-relevant creatures or threats or disruption into relevant creatures, threats, or disruption is fantastic. And a great example of that is turning Collector Oof into Fiend Artisan, Collector Oof into Plague Engineer through Fiend Artisan against Elves, or turning Thalia into a Knight of Autumn or Grist against Death and Taxes. So I think if you are going to play a deck that's creature heavy, you do need to have ways of turning each of your disruptive pieces into a resourceful tool against a multitude of decks. And a way of doing that is through Fiend Artisan. So I think it fits really well into the shell. And I was going to find a third copy, but I really want to try out the second copy of Solitude, which is another way to make use of cards like Thalia against decks like Death and Taxes, or if you have multiples, of course, against decks like Blue-Red Delver, etc. The mana base is pretty much the same. I think 23 lands is still fine, especially with 9 ways to accelerate on turn 1. And I've said this on previous streams, but my favorite turn 1, turn 2 play now is just Esper Sentinel into Thalia. A lot of decks can't handle that, and it's been great. So, we'll see how that goes. Very keen to play some Legacy. Have a sweet donation deck list coming out with Deep Root Wayfinder. Card was pretty good. That should land on YouTube this weekend once I finish the write-up, and we're going to run it back on stream. So most likely Sunday night, we'll be running that back. And here's a little preview into what the deck sort of looks like. It was a junk Depths deck that utilized sort of a turn 1 Deep Root through Mox Diamond. It had the Hex Mage and Invasion combo, which came up a few times, which is really nice. But there's a few things I want to see how we can shift around. Maybe include Urza's Saga, which I think is a great way to really punish opponents to allow you to keep a Deep Root Wayfinder around. And yeah, really looking forward to exploring kind of that creative space. We are playing a Legacy League. Nice. Zen Mav. And I hope you're all doing well. It's been really cold here in Australia. There's a big cold front going through, so it's pretty nice to be inside and warm. Gameplay. Alright. Up against Floor File. Really want to see a lot of turn 1 mana accelerants in my openings. And although this isn't it, I don't mind this hand. It is a Yorion deck, which makes me think this is Death and Taxes, which is a little bit rough, but to have all my mana online, Sentinel's really strong. Thalia not so strong, but if it's a different style of Yorion deck, and it's something like... Hey Arnie, welcome. If it's something like a control deck, this hand is fantastic. But it's going to be hard to really understand. I'm going to keep this and see how it goes. I think in the blind, I'd be happy to keep this hand, so we'll see how it goes. Hey Sahar, too kind. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Windswept, okay. That makes me think they're on some sort of BANT Yorion value deck with things like Ice Fang potentially. Plains Pass. Okay. Now we have some options. The Green Suns is really nice as it does scale, but I think here I'm happy to, yeah, most likely put them on Blue Zenith and just... probably just fetch up my other Savannah here. I could get this Scrubland if I really wanted to, but we have the Nurturing Peatland for black as well. That was easy. Okay. Not too unhappy with this opening. 2 creatures in a row is fantastic, or at least the Green Suns into Fiend. And here we can just try to keep taxing them. Most likely Fiend next turn. And then maybe turn a Dryad Arbor into Grist, if possible. Crack's annoying, but we do have the Wasteland for it, which is really nice. So next time we're probably just playing Wasteland and replaying the Thalia. This also means I don't have a way to shuffle, so that's quite great for us. Quite great. It is very good for us. It's a little bit of an awkward play there for my opponent. One big tip for people who are playing on MTGO is think about your turns during your opponent's turns, just to save on clock. Because here we obviously know what we're going to do. The forest doesn't change anything. We're going to Wasteland the Karakas. If anything, I could have played the Thalia first and then Wasteland, because maybe they let it resolve if they know they have the Karakas in play. And maybe the Wasteland on Karakas that changes it. So minor things that do add up. Oh, just Dried Arbor. I'm pretty happy to go after that, to be fair. Do I want to do anything else? I think we'll just play the Forest. Sword the Arbor to keep going after their mana. Next time we get to Green Suns for 2, but I think the best play is probably just play the Fiend, play the Fetch Land for Dried Arbor. Fetch for Dried Arbor, end step, untap, and turn the Dried Arbor into Grief. They haven't hit a shuffle effect as well, so they are actually Brainstorm locked, which is fantastic. So let's attack for 2. That's an easy one. Nice. I believe this next draw step is a fresh one for them. Wow, still nothing. Solitude's pretty sweet. 1 and 3. I could also go for Undermounted Adventurer here. I actually don't mind that. We do have a way to get Grist as well through Green Sun, so happy to get the Scrubland. Okay. That's actually pretty interesting. They didn't even let us look at what we get, which I would have at least seen, like try to see if we have Undermountain, but okay, we're looking at a kind of a grindy matchup here. So I don't like the Collector Oof. It's kind of a bear that I don't really have any love for in this sort of matchup. The Plague Engineer is nice at just hitting things like Mana Accelerants, potentially Ice Fang. The Esper Sentinels and the Thalias I still think are pretty relevant. The Ramanap can be pretty Feast or Famine. Hey, Lunan. Because they do have a lot of basics, usually, especially with the snow-covered basics. They usually have up to 6 or 7. But there are spots where they go for Jewels, and of course the Ramanap can be great. Ramanap can also get back things like Peatland and Canopy. I obviously like the Kaya. I don't mind the Opposition Agent. Seeing the Dried Arbor makes me think they are a Green Suns version of the deck, so that's quite strong. I don't mind dropping a Knight. I think I'd rather have the luxury of having the graveyard as a resource with Ramanap than having the third copy of Knight. And honestly, that might be the only changes. Force or Thoughtseize could potentially be a card, but I think just a light switch of these two is more than enough, and then we can see where our opponent's on once we see a bit more of their deck. I think they obviously got pretty unlucky there. Yeah. really like this hand. We have Turn 1 Acceleration or Esper Sentinel. We have some mana, 8 in Wasteland. We have Fiend Artisan, which turns these bears or these creatures into something else down the line. Mana's great, so pretty happy to keep this. Okay. Pretty happy just to fetch for a Savannah here, and probably to start with the Esper Sentinel. Especially if they have something like Sylvan Library. I really want to be able to draw a card off that. I think next time we just go Ignobled Hierarch and fetch. In case they play a Teferi, bounce Ignobled, we can fetch for Dried Arbor and kill the Teferi. Loam. Okay. I wonder if they're also on some sort of Field of the Dead strategy. Interesting. Just fetching. I don't want to get Dried Arbor just yet. Ooh. Questing Beast is kind of cool, though. I think I'd rather save the Questing Beast and see if we can get the Fiend Artisan online. But Beast is pretty nice. Play the Fiend, attack with the Ignobled, and then potentially fetch for Dried Arbor end step. Interesting they fetch for just a basic forest. They obviously have blue through the Abundant Growth, but even just to fetch then and not hold it up. Maybe they are scared of opposition agent. Knight of Autumn can be kind of a catch-all, hitting things like Abundant Growth if you really want to. Like in this instance, you could force your opponent to go and get a dual land for blue. Or Sylvan Library is a big card as well. It's nice to have an out to that sort of card. Also just being a 4/3 as well, it has a little bit of flexibility. Otawara. That's fine. So here we get to Wasteland the Trop and also just play the Beast, which I think is pretty strong. I guess we could keep the Wasteland if we really think they have Karakas, but in this instance I'm pretty happy just to slam the Beast. Put them to 10. At least if they play something like Karakas, then it does expose it to Wasteland. The Loam does turn that off to some extent, but again, fetching quite aggressively. Hey Shoreline, welcome. Ice Wing's gonna be fine. Oh, another cut. I don't think it's Allurin because of the Loams, but it could be Allurin as well. They don't get to block this. Gonna play the Peatland to draw a card end step, and then we just get to play the Fiend Artisan here. I could also keep this if I think they have a sweeper. But I do want to have a second threat in play. Could also draw a card right now in case I draw into Esper Sentinel, but I could also show that I might be have Endurance in play. They did reveal Yorion, correct. I'm happy just to pass here. Their mana's a little bit weak in that they're really relying on a second color through the Abundant Growth. They have to have an answer here for the Questing Beast. I guess they could Prismatic Ending for 4, thanks to the Abundant Growth. Is that what they're going to do? Oh, Natural Order. Not too scary. This is most likely a Traxxer, which we do have a few outs to. I think here in response, I'm just going to draw a card first to see if we draw to Caracas. Noble. Okay. We're fine with this because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, which is 1 mana, play Noble Hierarch, use 4 mana to sack the Noble Hierarch to Fiend Artisan, go and get Grist, and then Grist away the Fiend Artisan for the Atraxa, and then they can only attack. We attacked for 4. Or I guess we attacked for 5 with Exalted, but that works out. So this should be a win, unless they have some sort of free spell like Submerge. They also haven't played a land yet, which does change things, but at least it puts them onto having exactly white mana and swords, which I guess with the tracks you could find. Brainstorm, Snow-Covered Island, Swords, Taiga, Ramanap, Green Sun's Ponder. Oh, the Dried Arbor was a land. Of course. Dried Arbor was the land for turn. So Fiend and Questing Beast here working out really well. They get rid of the Ramanap, Taiga, Abundant Growth. Right, let's use this to play the Noble. Play the Bayou. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Go and get Grist. Trade this with this. Nice. All right, we're up. Really cool to see the synergy there between Questing Beast just applying a lot of pressure and Fiend Artisan allowing you to just to get through, which is really cool. But yeah, interesting spot there. I feel like it's tough for our opponent because they want to build out their mana in a way that can't be affected, so they get basics, but then that does also cut you off being able to be as effective as possible with actually getting out all your spells. And although Atraxa is nice as a natural order target, it's a little bit too slow, which is great for us. Alright, so BANT, Yorion, NO. I don't mind that matchup. It can be quite tough if you are aggressively removing their creatures to turn off natural order, and then you have no, say, Source to Plowshares left for their actual threats. Sand is great. Double Thalia, a little bit rough, but otherwise, we have Mana Acceleration, we have turn 2 Thalia into Wasteland, we have turn 2 Oof if needed. Pretty great hand. Alright. If we draw a land here, we draw another Thalia. Here I'm actually happy to... I'm quite aggressive with Wasteland, especially against a turn 1 Delver compared to a turn 1 DRC. The next turn we get to buy you into Thalia. Oh, sorry, buy you into Bird. And then if the Bird goes, we still have Canopy into Thalia, which is nice. They chose to not shuffle. Plague. Okay. There is some merit to holding the Bayou, seeing that we got the Plague Engineer. But I think here I'm happy to just keep this around. I feel like we're going to see an actual Lightning Bolt and an actual Birds of Paradise. Again, a land off the top, just to keep making sure we can make land drops would be fantastic, but I think the Canopy here shows a little bit of weakness in our mana. Kind of hope to see that bulk again. Chose to shuffle very quickly as well. Probably looking for another threat, if anything. I could take a turn here to build up my mana with Green Suns for Dried Arbor and also play Noble. Which I don't mind, because it means that the following turn we can hopefully play two 2-drops. If we play the Thalia here, we also lock off this Green Suns effectively. So I think that's going to be the play. If it is a creature, both Delver and DRC will be 1/1s. They chose not to shuffle, they play a Wasteland. I guess if they take out the Bayou, we don't have black mana. Wasteland, okay. That still allows us to go Thalia into Fiend. But we are getting very low on life total. They force that. I think here we have to go for Fiend over Thalia, just to be able to get Endurance most likely to block this. They have 2 cards left. Also a 4/4 is very relevant. No end step bolt to the face. Four effectively turns off the Canopy. Ooh, Murktide. Yeah, 1 turn too slow. Maybe the Wasteland was just too aggressive. But obviously, a blue-red Delver deck where you don't see Source Plowshares is just going to end this way, where it's a little bit like Solitaire. I can make plays, but they don't really have an effect on what's happening in the game. Okay. 1, 2. Is there a 2-drop that I can get? Not really. We aren't playing Scrib. I don't play Scrib in the non-mum versions. 2023. Could get Birds of Paradise, but that doesn't really do a whole lot. They only have one card, which is good. It means they don't have Force of Will. Think. Hey, Elo. A huge thank you. Too kind. We're definitely swordsing the Murktide. That's an easy one. And if their last card is Bolt, their last card is Bolt. I don't want to use the Canopy. So let's start with swords. And then it might just be draw a card here. Okay, same sort of situation. And I guess we just... beat. Delta Ponder. All right. Okay. We are at 1, so we can't actually use the Nurturing Peatland here. We can cycle away this Peatland. Oh, we didn't. Did we? Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I think that's actually better. Dig one deeper that turn instead of getting in the 1. For sure. But yeah, now it's really tough because we need both a black source and a removal spell. It actually has to be, not a fetch land, a black source, and then draw into Solitude. Yeah, I didn't even pick up on the Exalted. That's very true. That is going to do it. Tough. I like the paths. I like the endurance. We don't need the Untermountain, the Questing Beast. Night of Autumn I don't mind keeping in. We've definitely lost a few games to either Unlicensed Hearse or Grafdigger's Cage. And I think the utility of Night is good enough that I'm happy to leave it in. I don't want Chalice. I don't want anything else. Something like 3 lands, 1 removal spell, and 3 creatures is probably the best that I could ask for in this sort of matchup. Yeah, I think a lot of it, especially the turn they got to Murktide, was the turn we didn't get to Endurance, and we kind of did lose a turn from the turn 1 Wasteland, so maybe more thought to that. Not a great hand. We have, Fetch for Dryad Arbor turn 2 4/4 Knight, but if we lose that to Daze, we just have lands, so pretty happy to mulligan that. This is actually a great hand. It's a little bit rough because we have both Pain lands, but I think with that happening, I'm happy to bottom 1 and just go Canopy into Sentinel, into Noble, into Wasteland. They could be really aggressive, force this and Wasteland us, but I think that this is fine. If they want to Wasteland us and get under this Esper, then I'm more than fine with that. I also think here that the Wasteland is more important for us, having 3/3 drops in hand, that I don't have the luxury of Wastelanding my opponent here. You're also in an awkward spot where Wasteland on us turns off the ability to not allow us to draw a card with the Sentinel. Which makes me think that it's have another creature. No. Oh, okay. So what we want to do here is attack first with the Sentinel. Which, to be fair, they shouldn't have a way. It means that if they want to force the sword and pay 1 to not allow us to draw, this way we actually make the Esper Sentinel power 2. Which is pretty cool, because now we get to... Yeah, I'm going to swords this now. Okay. I still think the Wasteland is just a little bit too important for us. That I don't want to Wasteland our opponent here. But it is interesting, especially with the Wasteland in play. Beautiful. Here, we can attack with the Sentinel first. Which is really nice. I mean, the Sentinel's doing a lot of work, especially against Daze, against Force. I think here I'm happier to play the Knight as a 3/3. I could try to wait. Let's have a quick look. We have 19 minutes. We have a lot of time. I could play the Ramen up here. We don't get value off it, and it is a X3, so dies to bolt. I could play the Knight. It's a 3/3. If we draw into a fetch land or any land, it gets a Wasteland our opponent. It's a 4/4. I think in this spot, I'm happier to throw away the Knight. Because we have more copies. Nice. So they force this, and they can't pay the extra 1, so we do draw a card here. And Cradle's actually pretty good, let's be honest. Cradle means next time we can play both. Hey Code, thank you very much for the sub. Okay, what if we go Cradle, Thalia, Ramen up. That's pretty sweet. If we draw a fetch, we can fetch for Dryad Arbor, Grist, and trade the Dryad Arbor with the Insect, which is pretty sweet. We have double Wasteland next turn, so they kind of have to deal with the Ramen up here. Okay. 2 mana, 2 mana, so it's definitely dealing with the Ramen up. Sure. Endurance. Ooh, Solitude. 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're tapped out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Hell yeah. I think that's probably the best, especially while they can't pay for anything. Not afraid of daze because of the Thalia. Thankfully, they can't daze us. So having that kind of barrier is a really nice time to be able to play the Solitude as a 5-drop against Delver. No, all good. Just one of those things you don't always pick up on. Ooh, Double Ponder. Shuffle with the first one. Chose to shuffle again, wow. Also, we have an uncounterable turn as well, which is huge. Oof, okay. Would I rather get in 4 with the Solitude or get in for 5 with both? I think at this point it doesn't matter too much just because of all the removal we have. One nice thing to note as well is that Thalia says that non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast, but while in your hand, Grist is a creature, so it actually isn't taxed by Thalia. Could blacken this. Grist. Tick up. I will waste them off 1 red. It does mean we can't swords in their turn, but I think we're more than fine with that. We have a lot of removal spells. Grist is also a great Green Sun's target in the face of Containment Priest, as it is a Planeswalker once it's there. But they can't... You can't cast anything. I guess you could fetch and play Delver. Okay. Then you go to 7. And then we might nearly have lethal. Are they going to pay the 2? No. Okay. Just going to hold the planes. Much better is unknown information. But not cage, correct, Mangork. Which is tough because it is a creature in the library. Ah, it lets you cast it the following turn. Okay, that makes sense. My only thought is, does the Brainstorm mean they're playing something like In the Festivities, potentially? That'd be quite good. It would be... not really, because they could play the Delver then to block the Solitude, but the Grist is there as lethal as well. Yeah. No changes. This is a great hand. We get to go for early mana acceleration. We have some effect on their ability to cast things. Fiend hopefully gets a bit bigger. If this Noble goes down, we have swords as well, so pretty good. Just in case of Stifle, I'll do this in their upkeep. We haven't seen Stifle yet, though. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh no. No opponent. Alright, let's go for Forest. Yeah, let's play Noble. What's the keep? What's the keep if you're on Blue-Red Delver and you keep a hand with Volk Wasteland, but no other play? Like, no turn 1 threat, no turn 1 cantrip. That's pretty good. Maybe all bolts? Yeah. See, at least if this Noble dies, the Fiend becomes a 3/3, which is getting closer. Okay. Force Flooded Strand. I assume this means that they can force from exile. Until the end of the next turn, you may play those cards. Can be played until the end of next turn. Hey, Nero, a huge thank you. Very, very kind. Hope you're having a great week. The question is, do I want to get Dryad Arbor here? I don't think I want to expose my mana that much to something like a Sweeper. I'm happy to untap and draw. Another Fiend isn't too bad. Just double Fiend. Force of Will Freecast says from your hand. Oh, Submerge. Okay. Not too bad. Force Pitch Force? I'll try again. Now we're in a pretty nice spot because if we hit lands off the top, we're not too unhappy because we just want to hardcast the Solitude. And if we hit creatures, we have all the mana to cast them other than black mana. But other than that, pretty good. I'm happy to play the Cradle. I don't want to expose the Karakas just yet. It is my only white source right now. Okay. If they play a creature this turn, we can Solitude it and then tap the Cradle for mana, which is nice. Endurance. See, I still don't want to play the Karakas in front of this Wasteland. I kind of want them to have the Brazen Borrower in hand. Okay, hear me out. What are the chances they tap out for Brazen Borrower end step? I play the Karakas, and then what I do is I Solitude pitching the sword on the Brazen Borrower, tap the Cradle for mana, and then just play an Endurance as well. Is that greedy? Is it greedy to play the Karakas here? Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind trying that out. We'll see how it goes. I feel like they'll make the most of their mana and play the Brazen here. They could waste before end step. I guess then they couldn't cast the Brazen as well. So. actually funny how much this game changed in terms of mana. Murktide DRC. Okay. We need a land off the top. Hiya! Oh, there we go. Nice. Let's hope this all plays around. So let's go for Savannah. Let's go Solitude Pitch. I guess I don't have to. Yeah, because I want to Endurance this turn to get rid of the Murktide. Is there something else that I could do? Not really. I guess we could also just play the Fiend Artisan. Quick think. They have one card in hand. The Brazen Borrower is exiled. The Fiend Artisan would be a 1/2. It would be a 3/3 still. Yeah, I think the Solitude line is fine. Just gonna make sure that I tap this for mana as well. Nice. Another wasteland, wow. I'm happy to get in here and try to race a little bit. They put us down to 13. Then we attack back for 7. So the last card in hand is Daze, and they have a Brazen. A fetch land here would be fantastic because it turns Dryad Arbor into... Honestly, now I think we just attack with the Fiend and hold back the Endurance. I guess 7 and 7 is pretty good as well. Like if I attack there, put them to 7, then we have lethal. Now we get to just keep attacking with a 4/4 because this can't actually kind of block anything. I think upkeep I'm just going to wasteland one. Even like keeping them off like cantrip into bounce potentially. I don't think the wasteland is doing a whole lot for us. Like right now all we want is white mana and wasteland doesn't really do anything there. Now I like attacking with both though. Ooh, okay. That's quite good. Yeah, I like attacking with both here. I don't like going down to 12. I want to see if they at least... They have to block something here. Just because like double bolt is a real thing. Yeah, they have to block awkwardly. Oh. Do I play the Sentinel? Honestly, I'm pretty happy just. They bolt me to 10. They attack me to 7. Like, surely it's not triple bolt. If it was triple bolt, even if it was double bolt, I think they would be a little bit more aggressive with their attacks into the endurance and then just bolt off the endurance. Oh, we know one card is Daze. Yeah, I think I'm playing around too much like Christmas Land. And I think just playing the Esper Sentinel is also quite good. Could get us an extra draw. It could be the deciding card that I need. They're going to hardcast. Okay, that makes me think they have Murktide. Which again, the Sentinel is also something that we can just send away. For Grist. Which also means if their play is to play like land into Murktide, then we have Artisan get rid of the Esper Sentinel. Oh, play Esper Sentinel. And then, yeah. I think by doing that with the Esper Sentinel and making them try to go for a Murktide line, we actually put them off anyway to win because we have untap. The Esper Sentinel's free with the Cradle, which allows us to tap the Cradle for 4, go and get Grist in exchange for the Esper Sentinel with Summoning Sickness, and then trade away the Esper Sentinel we have in play for the Murktide. They now have a creature in play that can't block non-flying creatures, and we get in with both creatures, which is really nice. Yeah. Alright. Oof. Nice. Of course, because the Brazen can't even block. That's very true. Yeah, I'm gonna call that yeah. Sometimes on stream you just forget things that are literally on the screen. Yeah, Fiend Artisan's really nice. Fiend Artisan gives you a lot of play. Like, just the ability to play a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, see, say, like a Prismatic Vista next to you, play a turn 2 Fiend Artisan, and then on turn 3, turn that Noble Hierarch into a Grist is pretty awesome. A nice hand, but just no mana, so pretty happy to mulligan this. Oof. A lot of 3-drops, which isn't great, but I don't really want to go to 5, so I'm going to keep this in bottom a Knight. Okay. Happy to lead on the Savannah to hold up Source to Plowshares. Flooded Strand doesn't seem like a Wasteland-style deck, so not too unhappy about putting the Savannah out there. Plains. Okay. Well, Thalia's going to be a really nice play here. Another Savannah. No swords. Cool. Hopefully this isn't like a back to basics deck. That would be pretty brutal here. It's definitely looking it as well. Staff. Okay. That's going to be fine. It also means what we play next turn is going to be uncounterable, which is great. Green Suns. Not relevant right now. Get to attack. I'm going to assume this is a Stoneblade deck. Stoneblade just has some really nice play with Staff the Storyteller. Your Batterskulls trigger it. Your Kaldra triggers it. Great choice in basic. My favorite basic, for sure. Three, four, five. Next turn, if they tap out, we do have Green Suns for Grist off a Cradle, which is cool. Tokyo tournament was fantastic. Really good time. Swords is fine. Alright. Plague is cool. I don't need to Plague just yet. It's just cool to play a Legacy tournament with 200 plus players in a foreign country. So it was actually 9 rounds in the Swiss and then cut to top 8, so it was a long day. I think the Green Suns is just going to be better down the line, so I don't mind going for Ramanap here. We don't get value, of course, but I think that's okay. My other play was maybe Green Suns for a Manadork to start attacking for 3, but it's not great either. Ramanap not going to be too strong with their basics, as kind of like a Wasteland lock is turned off, but finding a Canopy land would be great. Obviously, if we get to a stage where Dried Arbor and Fiend Artisan get along, that's pretty cool. But if they force this, that's one less force for the Plague, which is pretty good. But yeah, I think one thing about playing in Japan is that the language barrier from a English to Japanese perspective actually isn't that big. Like, Magic itself is a universal language, so with good body language and just being clear about your plays, you can easily play as a non-native speaker in Japan, which is a fantastic experience. Everyone's very welcoming, great sportsmanship, everyone's very clean. I really like that one tradition is that at the start of matches, you show your 15-card sideboard face down to show that you're only playing 15 cards in the sideboard. Then you can do that between games as well if you really want to, but that's really cool. Yeah, they also know a lot of basic English, which is helps a lot. Picked up some Japanese cards, which is cool. Got a Japanese version of Naya Depths, minus some of the main cards. Obviously Moxen. Picked up a 4th Moxen though, which is cool. The Minsks, the Morlock. They're just hard to find and quite expensive for what they are. Sylvan Libraries are just like the Legends versions. The Windswept Heaths, Onslaught Japanese are quite expensive. But it's very cool to see some of the cards in Japanese. Okay. Okay. Ponder, so no sword. Which is nice for us, that means we can Plague Engineer away the Spirit token and attack the Teferi to kill it. They chose not to shuffle. Ooh. I still think Plague here is best. Spirit? Attack to Fairy. Grist is also kind of cool with Ramanap, because if we don't find a land next turn, we can Grist, tick up, and if a land goes into the bin, we can play it from the graveyard, which is pretty cool. I never thought of that kind of synergy in Maverick. Gives you like an extra look. Hey, Alfred. Yeah, there was one player there who had 1 in their deck, and they couldn't find another one. Saga. I guess that makes sense as well with Staff. It's pretty cool. Guide here is fine. Sleep Talk! Boyd, I hope you're well. Very cool to see you. We'll have to do a Creole soon, for sure. I'd love that, please. Okay. So that's pretty nice. I think here they have 4 cards in hand. I think we're just going to start playing Grist. They're going to try to draw into a counterspell here. It has been too long. Alright. Let's see if we can find a land. A wasteland would be sweet. No. Knight of Autumn would have been pretty sweet as well, let's be honest. In a pretty strong position. Obviously this Saga is a little bit of a worry, but potentially we can get to a stage where we don't have to worry about it. They make the construct now to draw a card. I could Swords it, which would gain them 2, or I could trade it off, which would be actually pretty good because it saves the sword, and it's only 1 damage less they're taking. So it's actually a better clock if I just remove the insect token. In that case, let's start with Thalia. And then play Esper. And then get rid of the insect. Hit the construct. Attack for 4. And now we have lethal on board. We have Caracas to save the Thalia potentially. Maybe they have Pitting Needle. They do have the Soul Guide there. I don't think they would have... Oh, Retrofitter Foundry, okay. We do have Collector Oof for that, which is nice. They have 6 cards in hand as well. Kind of forgot about that. The fetch here is a little bit scary. It kind of makes me think they have Supreme Verdict. Oh, Prismatic Ending. And Grist. Okay. But now they're just dead. They can block a 2-power, but then they just take 5 anyway. Because this needs a mana. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll take those. What are we looking at? We're looking at a 4-color. I do like the Kaya. I don't mind the Opposition Agent. I don't mind the Endurance and the Forces. The Oof is actually decent in this sort of style of matchup. The Undermounted Adventurer seems okay. The Beast seems fine. The Plague Engineer actually seems fine. The Ramanap doesn't seem great. The Knight doesn't seem great. I don't think we need the Solitudes, but I could be wrong. Potentially, we keep the Solitudes and we take out Swords, which I assume they'll play something like Containment Priest post-board. I like the Sentinels, I like the Thalias. I like cutting down on 1 or 2 Hierarch effects. This is 61. Maybe double force is overkill. Thoughtseize is kind of nice, but on the draw it's a little bit meh. Like, we already have 4 Wastelands for Saga. I don't really care about the 2-mana enchantment. Like, I don't think Surgical is worth it. Chalice isn't great because they have Prismatic Ending as well. How do we go about this? I might actually just cut out one. Just go for 1/1/1, and then just bring in 2 Thoughtseizes, and then cut a Solitude. I think that's fine. Thoughtseize into Thalia, Esper Sentinel into Thalia, Esper Sentinel and Thoughtseize. A lot of cool draws. Eye is obviously great as well at getting rid of construct tokens, as the exile effect just exiles them immediately. This hand is pretty much a 6 with the Dryad Arbor. But it hits land drops, but it isn't great. I think the early game is something that I want to control with things like Thalia or Esper Sentinel, so I'm actually happy to mulligan this. And this is a forest hand. Well, that speaks for itself. Now we're kind of just back at the first hand, but we don't really have too much else. I think it's going to be the Cradle and probably the Solitude here. Maybe the Agent is just good enough, but a 5 with no real plan against this style of deck is going to be a pretty uphill battle. We do have access to basics though, if that's relevant. Retro. Okay. Maybe the Fitter makes me think of Force of Vigor a little bit more. Especially with Staff. Okay. I think in this spot I'm happy to just Green Suns for a Mana Dork. I'll probably buy you as it gives me access to double green. I'm just going to go for Ignobled here. I don't think relying on Collector Oof is good enough. But it's definitely interesting. Like, it makes them have to have a removal spell. I kind of just want them to trade a removal spell with this early Mana Dork and then play one of my 3-drops. Let's go for Ignobled. Gives me access to 2 black sources in case I want to Thoughtseize next turn and play Agent. Just to shuffle pretty quick. Prismatic Ending. There we go. Oh, no fetch land either? I think let's get some value off the Endurance. Next turn I get to play Ramanap into Windswept Heath, which gives me access to Dryad Arbor. Wow, they're gonna force it? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, really surprised they forced it. I didn't see the endurance as a real threat of any kind, so happy to go for Ramanap here, get some value straight away off the Verdant, and then pass. And then if we draw into a Manadork with Exalted, the Dried Upper takes out the Teferi tent. No, because they have the Retrofitter. Okay. They can create a 1/1 here. I don't think it's worth getting the Dryad here. Staff's really interesting. I do like it in this sort of build, but it does take a bit of time to get going because you get a 2-mana 1/1, and then for an extra mana you get to draw a card, and if you get to keep on tapping with it, it's quite good. So I do like it in a deck that it's built around. I don't like it necessarily in a deck where you don't have something like a Stoneforge package or a Saga package. But this version looks cool, especially with like Retrofitter Foundry. For 3 mana every turn you get to draw a card, which isn't too bad. I guess you get to draw a card and get a 1/1. Thinking. Honestly, I'm happy to get a Dried Arbor here. Unless they have Containment Priest. That's fine. We'll just get something else. Wasteland's nice as it does slow them down a little bit. What do I want to do here? I think I'm happy to Wasteland and then just play Opposition Agent. They didn't make a... Oh, maybe they only had 1 mana open. Hey, Panda. Yorion Staff lands? Nice. Minsk actually. Minsk is cool because you get every upkeep it just resets itself, which is very nice. Fable's cool, it also does it. No attacks. Okay. Thalia is nice. I guess here we get to go Thalia. Actually, if we play Ramanap first, we get a land drop back. But is Wasteland really the land we want back? It might just be play Peatland. Yeah, I think it's actually play Peatland because then next turn we get to sack it, draw a card, get it back, sack it, draw a card if we want to get 3 new cards next turn. Play Thalia first so they're tapped out so they can't counter the Ramanap. Unless they want to do that. I guess that makes sense when they're quite low on mana. The Thalia is quite taxing. Stuff is cool. I feel like if you're playing, maybe it's a little bit too cute, but I would like to see a version with Manifold Key, because even untapping like a Foundry or the Staff, when it's only 1 mana, is pretty good. So we have Servo, Spirits, and Servo. Swords. Okay. Let's draw a card first. Okay. Now let's play Nurturing Peatland again. Green Suns. I can Green Suns for Grist here and tick up, which I actually don't mind. That also works kind of in favor with the Ramanap if we hit lands. Grist, of course, gets on the field through Containment Priest, which is really nice. No great attacks yet either, so I'm just going to lay low. I mean, Key being a Saga target, it untaps. It can be a Mazavith for your constructs as well. It's like small things. Like obviously with Retrofitter, it's pretty nice. Instead of having to pay 3 to untap it, you just have to pay 1. Grist is very cool. Grist is probably the best printing for Maverick since Thalia. I'm gonna say, like, there's been a lot of good cards, but Grist as a very powerful removal spell has been pretty fantastic. And obviously Thalia had a big play in making Maverick good. This could just be like a prismatic ending for 3. Oh no, it's not going to be. Endurance was as well, yeah. Endurance just has a unfathomable amount of flexibility. It's great against combo, it's great against control, it's great against Delver, everything. Boyd, you'd be happy to know that Cool Stuff Inc. have started redoing inside the deck. So you can find some new ones, which is very cool. They also have a really cool series that I really like, where they go through the stages of putting together a new a store from scratch, an LGS, and how someone actually builds up a store over, I think there's like 5 episodes out so far. There's a 6th one coming, but it's pretty good. How is new Ren working in Maverick? It's fine. I will block here because the Grist will otherwise just die. New Ren, it's hard because you can't tutor for it, so you don't get to see it as often as you want from a testing perspective. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. Alright. Here, we want to play Hierarch. Definitely play Agent. I'm not sure if I want a Swords just yet. I probably just want to hold up, draw a card here. There's no real need to Swords the Containment Priest just now. Oh, what format are you playing? I actually would like to just like have Historic as a non-stream Magic outlet. And I know that Pleasant Kenobi has played a bit of like green-white in Historic, but I haven't been able to find like a consistent list. Dual Commander. Oh, cool. Also, we are only in game 2, and our opponent's 4 minutes down, which is pretty huge for a deck that is quite a bit dirtily. Saga's going to be okay. Okay. We're just going to draw a card here. And then 6. Alright. Questing Beast. Knight. Not too bad. We get to... Can they make a 1/1? Sacrifice a servo? They don't have a servo in play. Sacrifice a Thop to create a 4/4? I think here I actually will just Swords the Containment Priest, because I want to turn on the ability to fetch out Dried Arbor if need be. Nationals is coming soon in France and you're testing Maverick a lot. Very cool to hear. I think if anything I might bring in the second Force of Vigor. Now seeing kind of their game plan, I think it's worth having it. Terminus. Okay. Did it just change type? Like the card type? I don't think it was this version that they had. Maybe it was. I'm still not going to get the Dried Arbor. It doesn't do a whole lot when they have the Saga down. I'm not going to play that either. But now they do have a fast clock in the Saga. They used to draw a card. Oh no, they didn't because of the island. Yeah, see, like, obviously they have basics, which is great for them, but they only have 1 planes. So because this is turn 11, and because they terminused, they couldn't end step draw a card with Staff. I also think I have to block here because I probably don't get another chance to. But honestly, Force of Vigor off the top would be pretty cool. Get to deal with both big creatures. Okay. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knight does nothing. Grist is there. Questing Beast doesn't get through the construct, but maybe it's just worth it to see if they block. Like, my only other thought was Knight of Autumn to take out 1 construct, but then they have another one. Under Mountain, we just lose the... yeah, I think it might just be Beast. But they didn't draw a card last turn to try to find a land, so I feel like they have a sword. Or else, why not just use the planes on their turn? Okay. I'll take this. This is where Kaya would also be very relevant, because Kaya just zeroing to get rid of constructs is pretty huge. Yeah, the dig is real. Attack for 6. I think we'll bring in the extra force. Now it's a tough one. Maybe the Thought Seizers aren't great. Maybe I'd rather just have more creatures. What do I care about with Thoughtseize? Swords. Maybe Thoughtseize is fine. We definitely want the Green Suns. The Espers are great. The Thalias are great. The Fiends are fantastic at just finding things. The Kaya is coming in. The Force of Vigors. Maybe the Undermountain, just because they have so many ways to create tokens and flyers that having the initiative is actually not that great. Because we don't have great ways to protect it. I could see that coming down and just Questing Beast being our main threat. And then maybe I will find room for a Thoughtseize. Or two. And then Knight's actually quite good, seeing their reliance on maybe this is it. Make up your opinion, man. Yeah, I think making them have to have threats is good. Thoughtseize is just tough because there's so many good cards that they could play that if we take a staff, they probably have something else to play. Yeah. Thoughtseize mainly for combo. Yes. Yes. We can go Savannah, Noble, Thalia. Potentially even Dryad. This is kind of a 6 with the Dryad, but I don't mind it. Alright, opponent goes to 6. Savannah. Noble, go. At least if they get a basic planes here and swords or prismatic ending, that's one less one they have for the Savannah, the Thalia, which is nice. Mana's a little bit tough with the Dryad Arbor here, but hopefully this Thalia sticks around. Okay. Kaya. Wasteland here also takes them off Terminus, so I think I'm happy to hit the Saga. They have Containment Priest. That sucks because now we can't play the Dryad Arbor now. That's actually pretty funny. I'm gonna take a little screenshot of that. Alright. Punished. That is actually hilarious. That doesn't come up too often, and I'm actually very sad about that. I actually think we just have to Solitude now. Probably pitching the Knight. I think Kai is just too good to pitch. That's hilarious. Ooh. This does mean that the Thalia won't be down next turn, or for the next turn. Like, there's no reason to take the damage there. Grist next turn would be so huge. No blue mana though, so that's great for us. Nothing. Okay. So Thalia still taxes in the Caracas, but Fiend is quite cool. I think Fiend just being another big threat allows us to like attack one into a Teferi potentially next turn. No Terminus, which is nice. Wow. Okay. Are we just bashing? I could also turn Dried Arbor into an Exalted Creature, which I think might have been the play before. I think I should have done that to get the extra damage in. Just to get black mana online. Also, while they don't have Containment Priest. I could have also sacked the other Fiend Artisan to make sure I have 4 mana next turn for Kaya. I think if I did think about that a little bit longer, I would have been more happy to get rid of one Fiend Artisan. But it looks like our opponent is having some pretty massive mana issues here, so can't be too unhappy. Alright. White, black, 1 and 1. Hey, Jittery. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Surely, if they don't have the blue sources, they have the Force and blue card in hand. There is no way this Kaya is coming into play. Oh my gosh. Alright. So we get to just probably exile the token here and just beat down. 3/3s attack easily into Containment Priest. Really happy. Hey, Mapson. Very cool to see you. A huge thank you for the Prime sub. Very much enjoying the Dark Depths podcast as of late. It is the perfect length for driving to and from weekly Legacy, which is fantastic because it really puts me in the mood to want to just like get that paper grind on. But I hope you're doing well. I know you are interested in playing around with Deeproot Wayfinder in Legacy, which is cool. Hopefully it does see some sort of play. I'd love to see that. Okay. I mean, next turn, Grist tick up and put a creature into the bin is just going to be dead. I do like it. It's tough because it does have to untap, and you do have to connect for it to do anything. But if it does, in the right build, it obviously does some pretty cool things. I think it works best in a Saga build. Yeah, they're in a really tough spot. Like, we attack for like 6 here, then we just drain them. We have a few awesome outs here, so pretty happy to see that. All right. What do we call that? BANT. Oh, it's actually 4-color. 4-color Saga. I'm just gonna call it 4-color Saga. Yeah, I think you might have to buy some black bordered scrublands. I think it would be pretty cool in a 4-color loam shell. The version that I'm playing around with is actually from Bob, who sent me this list, which plays 3. And you do have like the stage combo in here. The mana base is very similar to Naya Depths, but I think in this sort of build, Saga could come a long way. And it's a great card to get back with Deep Root. I think Saga's the card that makes Deep Root a real, you have to kill this before it untaps to get Saga back. And having the Mox Diamonds is nice for Saga. You could play something like a Shadow Spear or something. That'd be pretty solid. I did like the Hex Mage and Invasion line. It's also cool because, like, kind of Christmas land, but the creature itself is a legendary. So you can Karakas it back to your hand to recast Invasion, which is pretty cool. And it also gets back the Hex Mage from the bin, so you can like keep redoing it if your opponent just has some sort of answer to it. But yeah, I didn't mind this. Screws was fine. I miss Scavenging Ooze and like the ongoing ability to interact with graveyards. And the board was kind of what you expect from this sort of deck. Like pretty much everything you see in Naya Depths again, and then just plagues because you're in black. Saga would mean no Ikoria. Yeah, I think that's probably where you take cards out. Yeah, it's a cool card to play around with. And like the Surveil one also means like potentially your opponent has to respond to that before your Reclaimers are out of bolt range, or your Knights are out of bolt range. Or even if Screws can eat a creature, things like that. Right. On the draw again. That's we'll take it. We'll take the challenge. What do we got? Cradle Wasteland hand. Unfortunately, that is just a mulligan. Can't cast things, that is fine. This hand is actually great. Pretty happy to keep this, bottom the Bayou. And then we have double fetch for Knights. We have turn 1 Sentinel. Yeah, pretty happy with this. But yeah, just cool to see some new cards to play around with in Legacy. I don't mind Thalia and the Gitrog in like a Abzan Loam deck where you really go hard. Oh, it's going to be some sort of mirror. The Mutts. Oh, nice. Okay. Pretty good start. Unfortunately, we can't fetch for a basic here, but that's probably okay. Let's go with Savannah into Sentinel. Very nice to hear, Mapson. Very cool to hear. So they do have the 2 mana for map. And they're going to use the map as well. Probably Wasteland. Could be something like Tabernacle just to really slow me down. It could also just be Saga to get Saga going. And I like Saga. I think Saga is both a huge threat to me, allows them to potentially cast something. I think I just have to Wasteland it here though. Especially, okay, second Wasteland makes it a little bit easier. They're down to 3 cards. If I can get to 3 mana to hardcast this Endurance, I'm obviously going to be stoked. But they're 1 loam away from really taking this game over. I probably have to worry about their own Endurances from here on out. So I think it's just going to be Verdant Pass. Ooh, Punishing Fire. Didn't see that coming. Probably should have. Probably should have. But this is the turn. This is the turn where everything comes down. Like, do we get to untap with Endurance Mana? That doesn't matter. Found a grove. They found a bog. Okay, that's fine. Are they going to grove back right now or allow us to... Oh, they're going to allow us. That's pretty huge. Now we're going to get everything. No. There's the loam. So now this is the real issue with endurance that Ooze doesn't have is, do we take them off the targets or do we take them off the loam? And I think in this spot where we actually have access to Wasteland for the Saga, we just allow them to have the targets and then take away the engine in loam. Which is a pretty hard thing to allow them to have, but... Just going to get the other Savannah. And then we know the 2 cards in hand are Depths and something else. Okay. I think that's still just like Wasteland here. Oh, I could also Green Suns for Night of Autumn, but I don't think that's good enough. I think I have to Wasteland here and then next turn Green Suns for Night. Or Green Suns for another... yeah, another Endurance if they have Loam. Well, they're playing Bolt? Yikes. I guess that's their cards. They have Depth left. Depth and 1 card. Okay. Pushing Fire back, sure. If they have Crop, like we could try to like go for Endurance here to get reach, but I think just getting Knights online as a 5/5 is where we want to be. Yeah. Oof. Okay, they're just taking counters off. I thought for a second they were floating mana to actually crop, but luckily we got that turn. Another Mox, Pitcher Caracas. That was the last card in hand. So they only have Punishing Fire in hand. Thalia. Okay. I'm happy to draw a card first. Solitude. That makes me pretty happy just to get in here for 6. Because currently the only way we really lose this is potentially an endurance off the top for them. But we do have depth covered pretty well. A big part of this also comes back to our choice of going after the loam and not trying to hit the targets of the loam. Fiend is pretty sweet, but Fiend will be small. We're at 8. No blocks. I don't want to show the black. The black is only relevant for opposition agent. I think 2-2. There's no real point playing any of these because they're just going to be hit by punishing fire. And the Dried Arbor does put them down. It's also a lethal threat. Wow, they go for Blast Zone over... Huh. I guess they can tick it up. Well, they don't go for stage. I guess they just think that we have an answer in hand. So Blast Zone goes to 3. They take care of the Knight. They Punishing Fire the Dried Arbor, but then the Fiend Artisan is a 4/4, which can be hit by Double Grove. One card in hand. But is it a good card? Ooh, they're paying costs, so I think it is. It's a loam. Alright. Oh, they get to bog us again? Yikes, yeah. Now the Fiend is off. I guess, like, Questing Beast is pretty sweet. Is there a world where we just hold up Solitude here? Probably not. It might just be play Thalia, just to tax them a little bit, and then hold up draw a card and also swords. Could also hold up like just flash Solitude, but they do have the Punishing Fire. If I draw a card now, I can't even draw into Grist, which is tough. The Thalia is not doing a whole lot anyway. I don't mind playing it here. It does mean they have to hold up 3 mana and the Grove. Hey Elf, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. Sure. I guess this does start building up the Fiend Artisan, which is nice. Wow, they wouldn't have had the mana to cast the... Yeah, that's... I guess that's tough. Green Suns, okay. Oh, could we get there and a land off the top? Oh, it's so close. Maybe it's just Grist tick up here? No, because they're punishing fire. I guess Knight of Autumn gets rid of one Saga token. Endurance actually gets rid of the Loam. I think it might just be Endurance here. They probably Saga into Shadow Spear to start drawing some cards. Which does mean we do have Solitude, which is nice. Probably Solitude, pitch Solitude. I think the way I win this is... Well, they just got another Mox? Maybe they don't run Shadow Spear. Okay. I think it's going to be through the deal 5 from the initiative, if I get there. I need a 5th mana and I need a Green Suns. Oh, they did have it. Sorry. I'm going to exile a Solitude. I think the sword's just a little bit easier to hold up for the other one. Is that easier for you, viewers? Hopefully that's easier for all of you. They don't even use the mana to equip their Shadow Spear. Interesting. Knight of Autumn. Okay, that's pretty cool. Because that allows us to go... Take out the Construct. Attack them. They make the 20/20, but then we do have... the swords for that. The beatdown starts again. All right. Loam's a massive draw for them. A Green Suns for us is pretty good because it just means we could maybe go for another Endurance. Oh, they just have another combo. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. They're going to make it now. And then they can also Grove the Endurance twice, so the Endurance can't even block. And then they can also Grove us so that 20 plus 2 is lethal. Crack us one time. Plague Engineer. That does nothing. Tough. Pretty easy boarding. We like these. And then we like taking out the Thalias. Path I don't mind. Kaya I don't mind. I don't want to have too many. I don't mind going down on one sword. Or even two swords and just a 2-2 switch. The Plague Engineer can come out. The Questing Beast is great for Mazavith. It could just be like 2 Sentinels. The Sentinels aren't great. But on the play, they're a little bit better. I think that's fine. Quick look. We didn't see Elvish Reclaimer. We didn't see Endurance, but you could potentially think that they're there. I think this is fine. I think that the Sentinels are probably the cards that could be something else, but I'm not too sure what, so probably happy just to run this back. You like the Plows? Yeah, maybe the Plows are just better. Just to make sure I have them. Even like a... Ooh, yeah. The only reason that I like the Sentinels is that it allows for more fodder for the Fiend Artisans. But I don't mind one. If we have one, then we have one in the opening hand. And that's it. There it is. A pretty slow hand. Does have Surgical and Green Suns, but it doesn't have a whole lot more. Okay. This has a lot of growth, which I like. I probably just put back 1 Green Suns here. I kind of like having a second. Maybe not. I think it might just be Bird here. This allows us to go Bayou into Noble. I could also go Basic into Noble. I don't mind that. There's a way to like get the mana flowing, just... yeah. Would love to see like a Mox Diamond start. Good Green Suns for Oof turn 2 potentially. They play the Besiju for an exploration. Okay. Now it's tough. I honestly don't mind just Green Suns for Ignobled Hierarch. Attack for 2. This gives me access to Kaya next turn. Also not too bad here because it also turns off the exploration. Okay. Oof. And the loam. I think we can only allow this, yeah. Good to hit the loam, which is nice, but... yeah, tough. Nah, that's gonna be it. Tough. Maybe the keep was a bit rough. Yeah, just one of those really good, like, mana efficient starts from depths. Like exploration into crop for blast into loam, another exploration. Yeah. Tab. But I think overall, Mav has a pretty solid lands matchup, so not too concerned about that. I think that was just blue, green, red as well. Alright, let's finish on a high. Good mix of decks tonight, for sure. BANT Natural Order, Delver, 4-color Saga, green-red lands. Haven't played against like a true combo deck yet, so we'll see how that goes. But hey, if you enjoy this content, you can find me on YouTube, on Twitter, and of course, at the Green Sun Zenith. I'll be back streaming again on Sunday, probably in the evening, so this sort of time, which should be pretty cool. Probably playing the Abzan Deeproot deck that Bob and I have been working on. So keen to get version 2 of that through, and also pass some feedback on to Bob. Hell yeah. Oof. 5 on the draws. Pretty sweet hand. Turn 1, Sentinel or Noble. Removal in Swords, Ramanap with. Canopy is obviously very good, so really happy with this. Flagstones, okay. Most likely Naya Depths, so I'm just going to go with Plains into Esper here. See if we can trade this away for a Swords to Plowshares and a card. Yeah, happy with this. Nice. Nox, cool. If they play a Knight here, we get to Swords and also play Noble, which is cool. And then have our own Knight as backup. I will fetch here for basic, because I don't want to get wastelanded. And then just play the Noble. I don't mind the extra card sometimes, so there's that. There's a Depths. Okay. So hopefully the last card isn't Crop. Thalia. I think here it's just going to be nighttime. Canopy in play, so if we want to play the Ramanap, potentially we can get an extra card as well. Don't you do it. Okay. Still a little bit rough, but that is fine. Wow. Okay, that does give us some time to play around with things. I don't mind drawing a card here, because we're probably just playing Thalia and Wasteland. But if we draw into a Sword Splash Airs, we can Swords the Reclaimer after they activate. Birds. Maybe that does more than Thalia here. Thalia would potentially slow down. Blackstone's is 2 mana and then 3 mana left over. So with Thalia in play, they can still Green Suns for 3. Unless when they're tapped out, I take out the Dark Depths. Which isn't great. I could also take out the Yav, potentially. They're 1 land in the bin. Flagstones will be a 2nd. Is there a world that if we play Thalia, they go and get Caracas? I think Thalia taxing our own Green Suns is potentially the reason why I don't want to play it here. I just want to go Bird into Wasteland Pass. Yeah, double swords, double creature library with a mock start is really good against our strategy. I think here I'm happy to take them off the stage, because at least with the Reclaimer, the stage has to come in tapped again. It is a little bit risky, but just by taking them off the mana, I think it's fine. And just while they don't have crop rotation open as well. Yeah, I'll just pay 4 as well. Oof. Yeah, okay. Yikes. We do have some cards here. We have Paths, which are strong, Opposition Agent. I don't mind the Kaya, the Endurance, and the Forces. The Thalias are easy cuts, the Sentinels are easy cuts. The Collector Oof is probably a cut as well. Surgical's interesting. Probably not good enough. I don't mind the Thoughtseizers on the play. Oof could be a thing, but... Okay, I'll keep this. Turn 1 Green Sun's Dried Arbor, turn 2 Knight. Or Path and also Green Suns for Noble Hierarch. And then Questing Beast just to get some damage in. At least if they try to Minsk here, we have Questing Beast as backup. Ramanap's going to be fine. Depths doesn't tap for mana. Okay. Can we... We can Swords and take out the Mox. We're definitely playing a land. Can we get Questing Beast in play as well? That'd be cool. This is where Path is a little bit tough, because I want to take them off mana, but Path, of course, gives them access to just their basic. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6 mana because of Cradle, which is Questing Beast and also Swords on Ramanat and Wasteland. That's probably the go. No, because we have to get Cradle. I think we're definitely... We also have Green Suns for Grist. Ah, I like Green Suns for Grist. Swords on Ramanap with 1 mana, 3 left over. We could also have additional left over. A lot of decisions. I think Grist is probably the best. And that is Swords on Ramanap. Tap 3. Probably sack the Plains for a Cradle, which allows us to get in for 1 as well. Yeah, so let's go here. 1, 2. Sacrifice this for a Cradle. Tap for the additional. Done. Green Suns for Grist. Get in for 1. And then trade away the Dryad for the Dryad. Next turn we get to play the Questing Beast, potentially hold up the path. There is a reason as well to hold up a path to exile for Minsk specifically. But they would need to have probably Yavimaya as their land drop, so the Dark Depths taps for mana. Bog's fine. I think it's just attacking with this. And then pathing this before they can use Jeskai Staff. And then I think we're just passing here with Knight open. Because we have the Insect and the Grist to deal with Knight of the Reliquary. The Knight held up keeps Caracas open for Minsk. Prismatic Ending potentially here. A Knight is fine. It's probably just a Canopy here. Just with the Cradle is quite nice. It's quite nice as well. Let's float a bunch of mana and draw a card. I'll play this on Human, which keeps Sylvan's Safekeeper off the field. Play a Wasteland. I'll activate, and then if they have removal for the Insect, we can use the Knight to get Dried Arbor to sack. I guess they could also have Crop Rotation here for Jeskai Staff to give protection. Yeah, okay. Pro green. Oh, I wonder if they think they can now block here, but they can't because of the Questing Beast. Let's see if they pick up on that. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, opponent, come on now. How do you not know about Questing Beast in Legacy? So good. I feel like I've let down my comrades, but here we are. Is the Wasteland doing anything here? It takes them off nothing in particular. I think in case they have a Caracas, I would rather hold the Wasteland. Okay. Okay. They have 0 cards in hand. Pretty happy to attack with everything here. There's no great blocks on the Knight either. Oh, no blocks? 4, 9. Oh, we just fetch and then Wasteland them? Yeah. Nice. I don't think we're doing anything different. I don't think I need Surgical. Obviously, Surgical can slow them down, but it's not really a thing. Thoughtseize is probably the card that I'm less inclined on to. I don't mind just getting rid of the Thoughtseizers, bringing back the Oof and a Sentinel. Just to have creatures in play. And Sentinel turning off Moxen can be okay. It's just tough that, like, if we're keeping in the Oof to turn off the Moxen, then having the paths that actually turn on their mana is pretty rough. This hand is fine. The Solitude makes it a lot better. It has early mana. Has a lot of good draws off the top. This is where Path in the opener is much worse than Swords to Plowshares. I think in this spot I'm happy to advance my mana and then Solitude this. Ooh, Dried Up a Pass? Ooh. So they most likely... Like, I don't want to run myself into crop rotation here, so as much as I just want to fire off the swords, it's probably not the greatest play. What probably is the greatest play is... Play Dried Arbor, get my mana online. Play Noble Hierarch and attack. I'm happy to turn off swords for 1 turn. Solitude has been really nice in Mav. Obviously, Dan had success with Palace Jailer, which is great to see. But Solitude being a removal spell from turn 0 to turn 5 and onwards has been really nice. Ooh. Oh. So I'm really thinking that they have Endurance here. I really want a Green Suns for... I guess what I could do is Swords on the Dryad. And then if they play Endurance, we can Green Suns for Grist. Maybe I just want a Green Suns for Questing Beast here. Honestly, I don't mind that. Really presses them. Yeah, like I'd love to get an Undermountain, but I just feel like they have another creature. Honestly, in the face of Swords to Plowshares, it's probably just better to get Grist there and tick up. Yeah. Like even crop for Karakas as well. Yeah. I think that was just a lapse in judgment in how competitive that was. Oh, attacking. Okay. Oh. Now we get to attack for 3. And play a 4/4 Knight. Which they have to have an answer for. Or else we just go ham on their... Yeah, okay, there we go. Oh my gosh. Alright, nobles. You know what to do. The nice thing about Questing Beast is that it holds them off this Karakas for the rest of the game, pretty much. It's like a hard lock. And I don't even have to cast it for the rest of the game, which is even, like, more hilarious. Still getting in there. Now I feel like I have an Endurance. Green Suns. Okay. Now I feel like it's probably Grist time. It could also just be night time. Well, it is here. I don't mind getting another night. It also turns on Wasteland to turn off the Karakas, which is cool. Cradle as well. There's a few things going on. Oh, just a pass. Wow, okay. I don't mind just attacking with the Knight here. Because even if they have Endurance, the Exalted means it just survives Endurance anyway. They could potentially block and then crop. Yeah, Endurance is fine. I don't think they thought about the Exalted here. Yeah. I don't mind getting in the extra point of damage. I feel like my opponent is just flooding. Like they have 2 cards left. And I think one of them is going to be an Elvish Reclaimer. Wow, they go to 6. So now Questing Beast is pretty much lethal. 1, 2, 3. Knight's fine. I think here we just path the Knight. And they have one card left. Basic. Okay, we drew the Wasteland. Hit the Caracas. Even if it's crop, I'm not too sure what they can do. Blue to white. Okay. If it was swords, I feel like they would have swords a lot earlier. How do I want to tap? I probably want to hold up a noble. Do I want to attack with a noble? No. Come on, man. They have to block. Yeah. Hey, McSalmon, a huge thank you for the sub. Too kind. It's good to be back. It's been busy with life and work, but it's really nice to try to get back just a little bit at least. Try to get those 2 days going again. Get some more recorded going. Have some cool stuff going up on YouTube later this week, which is cool. Honestly, here, just going to get rid of this and yeah. I'm going to attack with Justice for 7. Even if they have a removal spell, we have Knight into Caracas. No! No! No, opponent! No! Oh, no. No. It's happening. I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. Well, we went 4-1, which is pretty cool. Where's the deck? Nice. They probably didn't have a better option. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Really tough spot. Deck was sweet. Deck was cool. There were times where I did miss having Once Upon a Time, but at the same time, I really liked having all the kind of targets that we did have. Under Mountain was probably the card that I wasn't that inspired by. There weren't too many opportunities to actually grab it, and a lot of the times I did want it, it was against decks that had great ways to steal back. So I could see this being like a sideboard Planeswalker in a way against the decks where you do go long and you want to have like, you are going to see this a lot more thanks to Fiend Artisan and Green Suns than you are going to see the one of Kaya. So I could see a world where you actually play a Adventurer in the board as kind of your grindy, kind of like alternate way to win, or alternate part to winning through creatures, and instead winning through the initiative, which is cool. But yeah, we had a great mix of decks. So we went, let's have a look. Went 2-0 against BANT Natural Order, went 2-1 against Blue Red Delver. We went 0-2 against Green Red Lands. We went 2-1 against 4-Color Saga. And then we went 2-0 against... No, 2-1? Yeah, they had a crazy start. 2-1 against Naya Depths. So, pretty sweet. I think on Sunday, I'll probably do a double league. I'll play Bob's deck after we talk a little bit about how it went in the first league. That'll be up on YouTube shortly. And probably play this again and see how it slides. But it's 11. I'm going to go to bed. A huge thank you to you guys for coming in and watching. To the new subs, the new followers, a huge thank you as well. I very much appreciate it. And yeah, it's cool to be back. It's very cool to be back. I'm going to see who else is streaming and send you guys over there. But if you enjoy the content, definitely consider following the channel, following me on YouTube at youtube.com/DugsOnTwitch. It looks like... Oh, Gabe is playing? Gabe's playing Legacy? Hell yes. Hell yes. Nice. Northern Angels, you as well. A big thank you all. And I'll catch you next time. Have a great week. Stay safe. I'll catch you soon. Bye, Mapson. Love you, buddy.